When MrBeast first started seeing success on YouTube, he bought a church.
Where the heck are we? And what do you film here?
Yeah, so to be specific, you're in a church.
He is not the Antichrist. He is the spokesperson for the Antichrist. And the false prophet also causes people to get the mark of the beast.
Video is the Antichrist allegations are real, LMAO. Pretty serious claims. Apparently this is cut. It is a cut from the DogPack video, right? Where DogPack was saying that a lot of people inside of the MrBeast team were thinking that MrBeast was the Antichrist himself, right? And we have this crazy little script, right? This is the Dawson script. All of the things that he ended up using in the videos, the MrBeast is a fraud video, are all here. So here it all is. It's inside of QuinTheo's description if you want the link to all these documents. It's pretty wacky. Pretty crazy if I say so myself. Let's just get into it.
DogPack believes that Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, is actually the Antichrist? There was a deleted MrBeast exposed video that came out? No freaking way, is that true? No,
Of course
it's not. But these accusations have been levied against DogPack in the last week after he had this cool little fun interview with a jolly guy named Lyrics, and it was very civil and calm. It wasn't. As well as a video that
I remember Lyrics. He was an old friend of mine. A name I haven't heard in quite some time. Sure you all do too.
Came out today titled The Crazy Deleted MrBeast Exposed video, which has been garnering quite a bit of attention, making the claim that, this was an unreleased, rough draft, prototype of DogPack's original video, which is also not true, and they do admit this, but we're going to talk about it. I was actually able to reach out to DogPack to get a bit more information in regard to some of these subjects, so just letting you know ahead of time, we will be seeing like actual responses from the horse's dog's mouth. First, let's get into the video that came out today and what ended up actually being the reality of that. So this video comes out titled The Crazy Deleted MrBeast Exposed video. Yeah, and
so this is Exate. He's a commentary channel. For any context, I guess it's not really needed, but it always helps. Exate Connor is Drama Alert Keemstar. He used to be the former editor of the LOLcow Live podcast, which is pretty interesting. He decided to switch to commentary content. He's been making videos about the MrBeast stuff, and his videos have been popping off. My videos have been falling off. I guess Exate has taken my mantle. So if we see him in the next Diesel Patches video, that explains it.
And they basically go into it saying, hey, we found this document that was deleted, and it includes some stuff that wasn't included in the actual, part one of the video. Since then, they had been reached out to by DogPack and actually have it as their pinned comment to clarify what had happened.
Look at this.
DogPack reached out to me to clarify two major points. He posted the deleted section about Satan in video form in a reply to my Twitter here, which we're going to look at. And then my source and I were wrong about the document itself being deleted by him. It's up on his Twitter, and I missed it when I skimmed over his account. I apologized and asked if he wanted me to change the title of the video, and he said the title is good, clarifying that it is true, but that there are a lot of deleted segments and footage from his first video. But since it's still up, here's the doc. When I first saw this, I was going through it and I was a bit confused, and I actually reached out to DogPack. After talking with him, I realized I didn't actually directly compare them, but I saw this document when the video first came out, and I think a lot of people understood that. So it was a simple misunderstanding.
I don't remember seeing this. Did anyone else see this document? Maybe I missed it? Was it in DogPack's description or something like that? But I don't remember looking into this exactly.
Because it was just on his Twitter. You would have had to dig, pretty far back at this point. Now I've seen this Antichrist comment about DogPack including it and what that means a few times. I'm going to show you first the deleted segment that he had removed.
And now I personally don't subscribe to any religion. I think there's wisdom in many religious texts. I don't take them literally, but to each their own. The only reason I'm talking about this theory that, MrBeast is the Antichrist or whatever, is because it's so popular that multiple people, MrBeast works in the Bible Belt, and multiple people at MrBeast talked to me about this theory as if they legitimately believe there is a chance that MrBeast is the Antichrist. Keep in mind with religious texts, there's many different translations and interpretations. Okay, I just watched like one video and read the Wikipedia article on the book of Revelation. I'm just gonna present the evidence that MrBeast is the Antichrist as I see it, and it's quite baffling to be honest. This second beast performed great miracles. It made fire come down.
What did it say?
Be
I'm gonna look
honest.
at that
This
Reddit
second
4chan post. MrBeast is now performing miracles for millions to see. He's unironically the Antichrist. The second beast performed great miracles. It made fire come down out of heaven to earth in the sight of everyone, and it deceived all the people living on earth by means of the miracles which it was to perform in the presence of the beast. Told them to build an image. Beast had been wounded by lived. I do remember when like MrBeast did start to do stuff like healing the blind, and how he's trying to do all this stuff to like better the world. I have seen people make comments and be like, oh, MrBeast is trying to be like God. He's trying to play God here and use his money to play God, which, I mean, anybody can do that and anybody can say that. I think as long as he's, you know, he's helping people. I'm pretty sure DogPack posted this himself to be like, I don't really have nothing to hide. It wasn't something that he wanted to include to focus on, you know? Which makes sense, because this is one of those situations where like the whole video could be true up until this point, and people will be like, come on, man, that's a load of baloney. Cut it out.
Beast performed great miracles. It made fire come down out of heaven to earth in the sight of everyone, and it deceived all of the people living on earth by means of the miracles which it was allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. When MrBeast first started seeing success on YouTube, he bought a church.
Where the heck are we? And what do you film here?
Yeah, so to be specific, you're in a church. So when I first started, there's just no warehouses or studios in Greenville, North Carolina. Yeah. So there are a lot of churches though. We're in the Bible Belt. Yeah. So I bought a church and then we converted it by just like, you know, basically taking all the pews out and just converted it into a studio.
That's interesting. Why would you buy a church? I don't know. I think a church is a holy building. I think even, you know, if you have the money and if you do find a vacant church, why would you buy it? That is very interesting. You had to buy, right? Why not just buy like I don't know, like an abandoned school or like an abandoned office building? A church is just, it is very interesting. Again, I'm not accusing him of being the Antichrist, but of all buildings to buy, a church. It's a big building. Yeah, it is a big building, but again, it's more about what it represents, you know. It's the structure, the design, usually it has a big cross on top, you know. It does serve as you can recognize a church, you know. Churches are common big spaces. Yeah, I guess if you completely remodel it to not resemble a church, I guess I would have to see what it looks like. It's probably a picture on Google.
Specific part about buying the church, that's going to be important later. Just keep that up here.
MrBeast also died and then rose on the third day. MrBeast has performed great miracles. He is not the Antichrist. He is the spokesperson for the Antichrist. And the false prophet also causes people to get the mark of the beast. Again, this is sick lore. Personally, I don't believe any of it literally, except for the fact that I do believe YouTube will cause the death of humanity.
Again,
that's a good point. He literally says it. I don't believe it literally, which is why he removed it. Because if you were to include something like that, people will, in bad faith, be like, oh my God, he said this one point, and then he literally said, I don't actually believe it. So why would he even include it? Which, yeah, it makes sense why he would remove that part.
And he made it clear multiple times that he thought that, you know, the belief that these people held, since they are in the Bible Belt, it's going to happen more, was interesting. It was peculiar that so many people had thought that. And I think that plays more to the fact, or the point that he had made, that Jimmy is not, you know, this great, fantastic dude that everyone makes him out to be, and that the company follows suit. Usually you're not speculating that your boss is the literal Antichrist if, you know, you're getting paid well, you got good benefits. Like, I think that was the main point, and I think that Dawson did a pretty good job of clarifying, hey, I don't believe in these things, I'm agnostic. Also, as he said at the very end, he doesn't take any of it literally. Later on, CamNuggets, a good friend of mine who's also covering this MrBeast stuff, go check him out, he did an interview with Jake Weddle, in which case this other YouTuber by the name of Lyrics ended up joining in and
we got a CamNuggets cameo and then a Lyrics jump scare. Oh my God. A twofer. A twofer in the Antichrist allegations. Maybe I'm the Antichrist, just kidding.
helping with the interview. And by helping, I mean he kind of just aggressively interrogated Jake Weddle and DogPack and kind of took over the stream. I'm not going to jump too much into this. Just give me 20 seconds. In my personal experience, I felt as though I had given DogPack and Jake a fair shake in terms of like, you know, levying criticism against them, giving them the opportunity to respond to it, and just being objective about it. Whereas I think in Lyric's situation, he really wanted to push them, make them uncomfortable, give them heavy critique, and see what they do with that. I think
If you haven't seen already, QuinTheo did interview Jake Weddle, and it was really good. It was a nice little interview where he did break down a few things. He did push him a little bit. That's kind of a good interview is when you get a good question out, you get a good answer, tease it a little bit. It quickly can turn sour when it turns from a nice little interview to a interrogation. Kind of like what happened with mine. But I mean, again, learning experience. It was my first interview on YouTube.
We need people like Lyrics, but that doesn't stop me from having some biases and thinking that the way that he also handled his interviews or interrogations sucked eggs very badly. But that's as far as I'm going to get into that. The point I want to make is at the very end of this, you know, small discussion that he got to have with DogPack, he brings this up.
But what was that Satan part of your document? Where MrBeast was Satan? Not like the biggest point, whatever, but I thought it was pretty funny and interesting to see.
This part I didn't understand when I was in the interview because, or like in the interrogation room, because I didn't see the video in the original form. I'm pretty sure I saw it after he edited that part out. When he brought this part up, I didn't really understand because I didn't see that part. Apparently he removed it, like he went into YouTube Studio and cut it after it hit a certain amount of views.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I mean, people at the company sort of had this like ongoing meme or joke about evil MrBeast, but then there was like actual Christians at the company who like low-key theorized and like speculated on whether Jimmy was like the Antichrist, like unironically.
I guess not that I'm in a position to give any advice, of course. Okay. But I would say, I feel like even including stuff like that, it does hurt your overall points because it can like...
See, Lyrics? That's exactly why DogPack removed it. He literally removed that part from his video within like a few hours of it being up. So I don't think, I mean, again, you can argue that point.
Write you off as saying like, dude, this guy's saying insane shit.
So admittedly, it's a small point. He kind of plays it off, and then he starts talking about how, you know, it's a bad idea, you know, coming from him to include information like this because it overall negatively impacts his ability to, you know, be taken seriously, which to some degree I do agree with. However, I think that the way that DogPack had provided the point was making it more clear that he wasn't actually, you know, agreeing with any of it. But I think the point he was making with it, which I could totally be wrong about, was that, you know, the company was not looked at in a great light. And at the extreme of that perceived negativity was a bunch of Christians believing this dude is literally the Antichrist, literally Satan. And I think additionally, it also...
I heard a bunch of different perspectives. Like I did hear... when I made my video, pretty much putting the interview that I did with them together, there were a lot of like Christian viewers of mine and people who are a little religious being like, okay, I understand the that element, you know. They don't have to really like agree with it 100%, but they can understand it from like a religious point of view, because religious people are very passionate about their, you know, emotions and links to religious icons and whatnot.
Just kind of helps fall in line with who DogPack is and just kind of his personality. He adds a little bit of humor into the content that he makes because he also wants some degree of it to be entertaining. And because DogPack has still provided a litany of, you know, evidence that hasn't been proven wrong, those are the things that benefit his argument greatly. I'm just gonna let the video play because I think DogPack himself makes a really good point that I want to touch on.
Like, obviously this isn't proven. I saw like one of the examples, it was that apparently he used a church in one of his videos. And I feel like points like that should just get cut out of any kind of document calling someone out, because it's giving the other side free ammunition to respond
I'm
with.
doing this.
Well, yeah, if you misrepresent the point like you just did, I guess it would give you free ammunition.
Sorry, what? What did I misrepresent with the Satan thing?
That he used a church in a video. It was actually that his first studio, he bought a church and then removed imagery of Jesus and replaced it with images, logos of the beast. But again,
I was saying what
Well, okay, to be
I
fair,
was
I feel like
told
that is nitpicking.
by-
I brought up the sentiment and concept. I don't think that changes the broad point. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying
But-
in that document, and I filmed a bit about me talking about this, and I didn't include
Yeah,
it.
DogPack is really good at in a sudden debate situation. He knows how to cook. Put that boy behind a grill. He needs to make his next video. You know, get the content cop away. Content cop, leave that behind. Put a little chef hat on. You know, a nice little apron.
In my video because it is all hearsay and it's all speculation. I'm just saying that there are people who worked at MrBeast who unironically speculated that he might be the Antichrist. And they gave me a list of ways that he might be the Antichrist. Like, it's crazy.
Do you believe in those things, or do you like think any of them are like have some weight to them?
No, not. I don't believe in the theories themselves at all. I believe that there are people who at MrBeast who unironically think he might be the Antichrist, and that's what's crazy about it. Not that he is.
Okay, but do you know how crazy that's?
So like DogPack said, yeah, number one, Larix didn't even, cite the example properly, which shows that maybe at the very least, he didn't look at this very recently or, actually digest what was said in that segment or.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it wasn't even, again, he mentions that it's a bad point to include in the video, which DogPack agreed with because he cut it out of the video. And then he didn't even cite the fact that they didn't use the church for a video. They turned the church into a warehouse. So he kind of was trying to cook something up, but he kind of like burned the chicken. You know what I mean? He burned the rice, you could say.
Brought in the document. But additionally, DogPack reiterates multiple times that no, he doesn't have this thought himself. He is just, putting a spotlight on the fact that multiple people at the company think that. But it's really interesting that there's more than just one person. Like one person, it's strange, and then two, it's a coincidence, and then past that, you're like, why are there so many? I guess if you really suck at being able to understand when someone is presenting other information, that yeah, you could take that as free ammunition, as Larix puts it. But I don't think it's as free as he keeps making it out to be, because if someone were to argue against DogPack and be like, oh, this is dumb because look, he's making points about some weirdos at the company that think Jimmy is the Antichrist or something. If I heard that was the argument, that we can't take the rest of it seriously because he brought up this point, I would call that person a stupid head, because they clearly were misrepresenting the point DogPack.
Yeah, they're poisoning the well. They're putting a little bit of that rat poison in the well because, yeah, again, you don't have to agree with 100% of the video, but we're seeing a lot of people are like, oh, well, you made this one small little miscalculation or this one small segment that I wouldn't have included, so clearly all of it's thrown away, right?
Made, and I don't think that it's so viciously separating itself from the main points of the video. Keep in mind, he did delete it. He does recognize it as a weak point. Like DogPack said, it is speculation. It's just based off of what he had heard. It didn't really have any legitimate ground to stand on, so we got rid of it. Does that make DogPack's claims less valid? No! I messaged DogPack in regard to this, and this is what he had to say. Antichrist is a funny meme to me, but I respect other people's religious beliefs, so it was hard to ride that line, and it's all speculative. Like, you've seen it doesn't matter how many disclaimers I put, people will still draw the wrong conclusions, so it was a fairly obvious thing to cut out. And the second part that I wanted to cover was in regard to...
I feel like going into, religion and stuff like that, it's just really not worth getting into, because you'll have some people who are like, that's so dumb, and then you'll have some people who are like, yeah, I agree with that, God bless, and it's just it's a can of worms you kind of don't want to go down to, especially in this case where you already have a whole lot of other claims that are actually serious and can be kind of proven and justified. You don't really want to get into like spirituality and religious things.
To the crypto scams that were brought up, specifically more so in the doc. I don't know if they were really touched on in the actual part 1 video. I was curious because there is a lot of evidence supporting the fact that the company and some of the people that are in the company were doing pump and dump crypto scams. Here's some of the stuff that was covered in the doc.
He then attaches 3 images here. The first one is this image where it shows refinable, and it just shows it going down from what seems to be 4 down to 0.0021 over the course of about 2 years, basically. And then he attaches a second image, which is a tweet from Exate Network, where it says, "We're proud to announce KSI and MrBeast have invested into Exate. They are biggest YouTubers."
What a combo to have, invest in your crypto, KSI and MrBeast, the greatest combo. We recently looked at a MrBeast video where he was a part of an investing company that would invest into new YouTube channels. And that was like 2 years ago. And the company pretty much doesn't exist anymore. It got bought out and MrBeast didn't say anything about it. He still has the tweet up that was talking about, it was called like Get Juice or something weird like that. And yeah, the company isn't a thing anymore. And a lot of the people who were like getting their YouTube channels invested into no longer are receiving funds. So that's kind of fun.
The UK and US respectively. 84 million subscribers combined. More YouTubers backing Exate announced soon. Adoption is coming. Are you ready? Powered by Zakilla, Zill, and launched by the Deo Maker. And then finally, a last image here which says invested by MrBeast. MrBeast is an American YouTuber and philanthropist. He has been credited with pioneering the genre of YouTube videos on amazing stunts. Then showing his total views and subscribers, and then saying X Binance, world's leading cryptocurrency exchange. Binance is a cryptocurrency exchange that provides a platform for trading various cryptocurrencies. As of April 2021, Binance was the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world in terms of trading volume. Then he links an article posted on Gfinity Esports, where essentially it just says what is wrong with this cryptocurrency, and it says that Refinable was planned to launch at 33 cents, but the hype caused it to launch at $8.35, and at the time of writing, it is at $2.01. And this was written on April 29th, 2021. Then it continues saying several people think that MrBeast and the founders of Refinable were setting up a pump and dump scheme. That means people behind the scenes try to raise the price of cryptocurrency before launch artificially, and then sell when the token becomes one of the most valuable. MrBeast is in an unusual position to support a currency that has declined so swiftly. In addition to all of that, many people could not sell their cryptocurrency, claiming they lost thousands or even their life savings. This is a lousy position for anyone to be in. There has yet to be any reaction from MrBeast on the backlash, but he has come up with a good response for everyone involved.
So TLDR, there is a lot of evidence supporting the fact that, you know, MrBeast company, Jimmy, some of those people were very much taking part in either being invested into by, you know, crypto companies or straight up, you know, being tied to pump and dumps that were going on that they put their name on. Now, I was actually curious as to why the crypto stuff didn't really get covered as much. And I believe he covers it in the video, but I messaged him, of course, in regard to this and the Antichrist stuff. And this is what he had to say. I decided to either save and keep working on or hand off to someone else. The crypto rabbit hole goes deep, but it's a matter of finding all of Jimmy's wallets. It deserves a dedicated video, but I don't know if that will happen. Probably not anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, he kind of realized that there was so
Yeah, crypto's a lot of things to dive into. Maybe someone like Some Ordinary Gamers like Mudahar. I feel like Mudahar would have a fun time diving into crypto. You ever see his videos where he's like diving into people's crypto wallets, trying to figure out like where they're linked and like when the accounts are made and stuff? Those kind of videos are fun to watch.
So much evidence and, you know, info to sift through that would have needed its own video on its own. So I think it makes the most sense to have that removed when he had, you know, a whole video covering all of these other major points that he had made, all ready to, you know, ship out together. I'm very interested to see what is going to come of that, you know, down the road, because if we get even more evidence or like, you know, find all of Jimmy's wallets and are able to kind of like prove that, it's just another nail in this very large coffin. That's it for the video. I wanted to, you know, make this point about the whole.
Who is that? Who is he? Let's look at this cute dog. Good video, everybody. Remember, go support QuinTheo. He's pumping out great content on the daily almost. Here's QuinTheo.